morning edition of Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Brandon in the house this morning. I'm excited. I'm excited because we got not just because of my guests, but also all the people out there that kind of knew that we were going to be live with my beautiful guests. Decided they wanted to all file in very, very early. So, again, as I put on co-host Denaya, before we introduce our guests, it's great just to be able to see a lot of traffic from different parts of the states, different parts of the country, all because of this lady. It's not because of us. We have a platform, but this woman, oh my God. Everybody's up here early, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Right. It's always awesome to be able to talk to people that have been in the business for so long and have made an impact. Like with all the different shows that she's done, and that Different World theme song is everywhere to this day. It's a timeless classic record, and so to know that she's a part of that and just the whole show in general. Hang on, Mr. Cooper. So all the pieces that she's been a part of have been something that's iconic. Even from Dr. McStuffins, that's something like
right.
That's a little girl, black doctor, like that's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't understand how important it is to have these actresses that really study their craft and have made it a real impact. And of course, what she's doing behind the scenes with the charity work, like. I'm excited. I'm going on her resume, and I'm like, oh my God! And her album was phenomenal. Her album, I was listening to it this morning. Oh my God!
Right. And then I want to talk to her about that. I'm going to talk to her about that short, as we proceed with our interview. But my guess, I feel like we've all grown up together, and it's just like everything that you mentioned, Denai, is iconic. Everything that I feel like, and I know her fan base feels like, and it's not just through the States. There's so much love through Germany right now, so much through Sydney, Australia right now, so much through Canada right now. There's so much traffic throughout, and it's great to be able to have a network like this where we can be able to have dialogue. But she is iconic. I mean, you can list everything that she's accomplished and continue to accomplish, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful art at its best. You can check out her website at Dawnn Lewis, DAWNN Lewis.com, www.anewdayfoundation.net. You can also follow her on Instagram and Twitter at Dawnn_Lewis. And without further ado, we have the iconic Dawnn Lewis on Nexxlegacy. How you doing, my queen? Hey.
I'm great. It's like, wow, I want to meet me. I sound great. Like, wow, can I meet her? She sounds phenomenal. Wow. It's humbling. Honestly, thank you for such an amazing introduction, and thank you to everyone from around the country and around the globe who is tuning in to listen to this conversation. I'm humbled. I am honored. I am grateful, and it keeps me encouraged to keep doing what I'm doing. It's interesting when you list all the credits back to back. Sincerely, you have to sit and think, wow, I did that, because for me, I get up every day, and like any other human being, I do my best to put one foot in front of the other, and to try to make whatever I do something that I'm proud that I did. You know what I mean? Whether it's a job or it's an organization I gave my time to, or it's a person whose life I had the fortune to speak into, hopefully something positive, and that's what you do. And I don't really think about stringing them together. People ask me to send my bio or tape. It's like, okay, well, here it is. But my daily journey, I honestly believe it's just like anybody else's, to make the most of every single day and to hopefully be the best human being that I can be.
Have you had moments throughout your career? Have you had one of those out of body moments, like you just mentioned earlier, just now, that not only did I do this, I mean, it's at a high level, and it's at a high level that a lot of people are continuously inspired by. Have you had moments where you're able to reflect, or you just continue to just keep working, keep moving?
No, I do reflect, and I reflect for a few reasons. One, because people remind me, and two, because like I said, I really want what I do to be on the level of excellence. So while I accept that with humility, I also accept it with confidence in that, well, that was my goal. My goal was to be excellent. So I can't say, oh, my gosh, really, me? It's like, no, that was intentional. I worked hard for whatever it was that I did or for whatever project I chose to be a part of to be something that I would do and not only do but do well. So that was on purpose. I didn't set out to be a mediocre singer. I didn't set out to be a mediocre actor. It's my goal for whatever it is I don't know to acquire the skill to do it. And also just to honor, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord, and I believe that everything I do I have because of him. So I do reflect in order to say thank you and to give honor to God who, blessed me with these opportunities and blessed me with certain gifts. More importantly than disappointing myself, I don't want to disappoint him or not maximize the gifts that he gave me, like the parable of the talents in the Bible, in Scripture, where the wealthy landowner gave certain talents, a number of talents to each of his servants to see what they would do with them, whether they would maximize them or take what he gave them and put it in the ground for safekeeping. I want to be a good steward, so I do it intentionally.
I want to and it's a blessing, though, and I want to start with a New Day Foundation because I know that's a passion of yours, and I know that's something that you hold near and dear. So how did this all come together? And I know where everything kind of lies as far as what you want to do to be able to instill that confidence and just be there for a lot of our younger kids. How did this all come about?
I'll try to give you the short version. The New Day Foundation basically was the formalizing of work that I've been doing with young people since, quite frankly, I was a young person. When I was in elementary school, I got bullied. When I was in elementary school, I really did not have, I had dreams, but I did not have a really healthy sense of self-esteem. But I was grateful for the teachers that I had in elementary school, and a couple of those teachers are still in my life to this day. They come to every concert, every play. They just came and saw the Broadway show I was in, and they were also teachers for the accredited and award-winning writer Lin-Manuel Miranda. Their names were Barbara Ames, and Karen Fogler. They were his teachers as well, and both of us give them credit for inspiring us to be at our creative best selves and the kinds of human beings that we are. And everybody knows what he's done. He's done Hamilton. He did The Heights. He wrote the music to Moana, et cetera. So I give credit to all of those teachers out there who speak positivity in the lives of kids. So it saved my life. So when I graduated from elementary school and went into junior high, I would come back to my elementary school and visit my teachers. I would do concerts for them in the faculty lounge, especially at Christmas time. And then I would go around to the classrooms and speak to the kids and tell them what junior high school was like, and that I used to be a student right here, and I used to get bullied. And don't let anyone bully you, and don't be afraid to talk to your teacher if you're having a problem or have a question, because they really are here to help. That's not just something that adults say to you. I'm here to tell you as someone who just left here that it's true, it's real, and hopefully it helps those kids. And that was my practice all through high school and college. I would go back to my junior high. I would go back to my elementary school, do those concerts, and spend time speaking in classrooms. When I got to do a different world and continue my practice, I went back to my high school. I went to the High School of Music and Art. I graduated from high school and started college at 16. But this time, when I walked into the high school, everybody said, "Oh, my God, it's Jaleesa." And I got swarmed in the lobby. And they had to call the police. They had to get, not the police, but security, school security, to get me into the principal's office. They made an announcement begging people, please go to your classes. Miss Lewis will come and see you, but we need you to get out of the hallways. So music and art is like the school of fame, where I was living everyone's dream of actually performing and getting paid for it as a living and to be on such a successful TV series. So I did. They had an extra long school day so that I could literally go to every single classroom and talk to people about what it's like to do what I'm doing now. And that's when something clicked in me that this was not about something that made me feel good, that made me feel comfortable and take me back to the safe places in my life, but that I actually had something to offer that could be inspiring to someone else. I'd never heard the term motivational speaking before, but now realize that that's exactly what I was doing and what I had been doing. So I've been going around the country and around the world doing motivational speaking, master classes, empowerment seminars. I've been doing that for decades. A couple of the programs that I was doing, I wanted to do on a national level because up until then, I'd basically been paying for everything myself. Or if a college would bring me in to be a keynote speaker, they would give me a small, stipend to come and speak. But I wanted to grow what I was doing into actual national programs. So that was when I was encouraged by several of the corporations that I had, been hired to come and do, motivational speaking or keynote speaking for their various corporations or schools. They said, we will support your efforts, but we can't just give money to you. We have to give it to a nonprofit. So that was why I formed the A New Day Foundation, was to get that kind of support to do what I can do globally. And that's what I've been doing in India, in South America, across the country, and in Europe. And the name, the A New Day Foundation, it's funny. When I was a kid, I hated my name. I hated the name Dawn. I really did. I thought it was so boring. My friends had pretty names like Tanya and Swatia and Gloria, and my name was Dawn. I was like, oh, wow, that's incredibly boring. But as I got older, and you get to feel more comfortable in your own skin, I've learned to say my name in a few different languages. Dawn in Spanish is Amanecer. Dawn in Fijian is Matakalalai. It's different things, and it means different things. It means a new day. It means a new birth. It means another opportunity. And that's one of the reasons why I named it A New Day Foundation, a play on my name, Dawn, and hopefully be an encouragement to the people that participate in our programs that where you were yesterday, even where you are today, is not where you have to be tomorrow. So please offer our support as a beginning, as a new day of opportunity toward your best self and achieving your goals and dreams. So, we're 4 years strong now, and we've done conferences annually. We do them on college campuses for high school juniors and seniors and their parents, and college freshmen and sophomores. It's a full day long, about 7 hours of workshops in financial literacy and technology. We have experts from corporations and from across the country come in and lead the workshops. And we also, at the end of the conference, we give out 8 scholarships of $2,000 each and a brand new computer to graduating seniors that have been accepted into college. And, college students, they're there. You're a freshman and a sophomore. Now you got in college, and it's like, okay, now what? Now what? Right. So we hopefully give you the tools that allow you to stay competitive in the world-changing financial and technological market, so that what you're learning doesn't become obsolete by the time you get out of school. You learn how to start your own businesses or to advance the already existing work of different businesses and corporations. So that's
Amen to that.
Believe it or not, the short answer.
You know what? And I can't wait to hear the long one, too, though. Like, you could have gave a long one, and it still would have been good, too, though. So you could have did that.
That's lunch and beverages and,
A New Day Foundation.net is the website to go to. Dawnn Lewis is our guest on Nexxlegacy. Denia is your radio. You can follow Dawnn on Instagram, Twitter at Dawnn, DAWNN_Lewis. And before Denia asks you a question, I want to tie it together with this because I feel like the impact that you're making with A New Day Foundation is similar to how you made us feel growing up, not just with A Different World, but it was a great moment to want to go to school, go to college. It was a great moment to feel, empowered on an educational level, because there were so many episodes, so many different scenarios in our lives where it felt like it was actually more built on the motivation of that. Do you get that still to this day? And also with everything that's going on with school systems and things like that, like how do you feel that moment that you took from a different world when it comes to academics, how does that reign supreme now as far as the importance of education in 2020?
I think education will always be a crucial fulcrum for anything anyone does ever. Everything starts with what you know and what you learn and what you can repeat and what you can grow on. And our school system, for all of its challenges, is the place where you can do that safely, where you can get bits and pieces of science, of literature, of social studies, of math, of all kinds of things in order to see what the world is around you. And hopefully our textbooks will become more and more truthful and more accurate as time goes by, especially as more and more movements happen, like the one that we're in now, to basically to bring to light the realities of who we are as Americans and the variety of people that actually had such a pivotal hand in making us who we are in this country, and that recognizing that everyone's efforts and everyone's contributions are vital. It's not just the result that gets appropriated by some, where those that actually did the work are not only denied credit, but denied access to their very work. That's a whole other story. Mm-hmm. But A Different World, our series, took what was happening then, which was happening before our show started. There was nothing that we touched on in the show that was new. All of those subjects, all of those challenging subjects, all of those provocative, thought-provoking subjects were things that had been going on for decades, that we found a way that Carsey Warner, Mr. Cosby, all of those who supported, all of the writers, the amazing cast, we found a way to tell the story in a way that could be received, not just by people of color, but by those who needed to be taught. And a lot of our people of color had to be taught. A lot of people who don't live our experience had to be taught. And that show allowed them to receive the pictures, receive the information in a way that made it comfortable for them to receive it, but at the same time challenged them to do better for themselves and for their community. And the fact that that show first aired 33 years ago, and it's still on the air, and it's still being received and appreciated by people that weren't even born in the same decade as when we shot it. And that in itself tells you how vital and how pertinent those stories and those experiences are today. So I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am for having to be even a small part of that. And thank you for enjoying the theme song. That, too, was born out of my own experience, being so young, graduating from high school and moving, from New York to Florida to start college. It was a different world. It was a lot. It was all those things that my parents told me that now I'm on my own, and either I know it or I don't. And I'm either going to learn lessons the easy way or the hard way, and it's all in my hands now. So those words were basically the words of my experience, So coming today to where we are, even with our conference, we couldn't have our conference the way that we normally do, because of the COVID quarantine. Right. But we were able to present our scholarships via Zoom. So we had students submit to us their college entrance essays and their acceptances and their transcripts, et cetera. And our board reviewed them, and we, were still able to, select 8 scholarship recipients. Most of them were high school students. One was actually a college graduate. She just graduated from Spelman and is now going into Emory Nursing School, and she is a sickle cell client. So she managed to get through all of her sickle cell episodes and still maintain her grades, and she's studying to be a doctor. So we were able to support her, monies towards school and a new computer. So we all have to find a new way to process where we are for the health concerns that we are in the middle of, this pandemic, but we're also continuing the legacy of an economic and a cultural pandemic. Those things are not new. You know, people want to ask, is racism getting worse? They say, no, it's just being videotaped.
That's right.
That's it.
Everything you guys told us, we were paranoid. It's not so. It's not happening. Now it's being videotaped. Now you can't ignore it. And if you're choosing to ignore it, then understand that that's by choice. It's not because it doesn't exist. It's because you refuse to acknowledge and to give credit and to hold accountable those who insist on perpetuating this atrocity, regardless of the evidence, regardless of the damage that it is doing. And if we don't turn around, we're going to be the undoing of our own country. We're going to end up in another civil war here if people don't wake up. And the thing that I've noticed is that it's not just us and them. This is around the world. People are protesting these injustices around the world. It's not so black and white anymore. Because over generations, people have intermarried, cultures have mixed, you know, all of those things. So it's not so black and white anymore. And the world has said, enough. You've got these protests not just here in the States. You've got them abroad in all of those countries you mentioned and then some.
That's right.
So hopefully, one way or another, we're going to come out at least a little better than we were when we came into this thing.
Cannot ignore it. Can never ignore it. Dawnn Lewis is our guest on Nexxlegacy Deny Is Your Radio. Make sure you go check out the website, which is www.dawnlewis.com, www.anewdayfoundation.net. Make sure you go to Twitter, Instagram, follow Dawnn now. Not just right now. Do it right now. Not now, right now. At Dawnn_Lewis, DAWNN. Deny, go ahead, ask your question.
Definitely. So give us two of your most memorable experiences doing motivational speaking with the New Day Foundation.
My most memorable experiences with the foundation?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you asked? It was hard to understand you. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. One of the most memorable experiences was our very, very first conference a few years ago. We were on the campus of USC, and we had close to 450 people, students and parents, sign up for this conference. It was amazing. Our first conference out, and when we are on campus, people register, but then you hope people actually show up. When
I know it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes even free, it's hard to get people to show up for free because everything our foundation offers, we do it with corporate support so that we can offer it to our participants for free. No one ever has to pay for any of our programs, any of our workshops or seminars. We actually send you away with things, whether it's scholarships or materials or books or access to different programs and opportunities when the conference is over. Just to say that. But that first day when we were registering students, people started coming up in small groups, but then someone tapped me on the shoulder and pointed me in a different direction and said, Dawnn, look, there were almost 200 students that got off of buses from schools from Pasadena all the way down to Long Beach, marching up the walkway to come and register. I'm crying now. I stood there and just started crying when I saw all of those kids and parents and teachers coming up to register for the conference. That was the most amazing thing, the most affirming thing for anything I have ever done, to say, Dawnn, even if you touch just one of these kids today, look at what is happening now. Thank you, Lord. That was that. The other thing that happened again in that first, I'm crying now. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I got to get tissue. In that same first year, you want to do something and you really, in your heart and in your head, it sounds great, but then you wonder if it's actually going to come together. That year, one of my sponsors, I was out. I'm not good at asking people for money. I'm just not. But again, because we offer everything for free, you have to be able to approach people and receive grants, receive, support, etc. So I'm going around and I'm asking people for money, and the first thing you get is, well, you're a first-time foundation. It's your first year. We don't usually sponsor organizations until their third or fourth year, once you've established yourself. It's like, okay. So I'm walking around, and those are the first few meetings. The next couple of meetings, they start out, well, you're a first-year organization, and we don't normally do that. But then they looked at me and said, however, I have seen you support so many other organizations, the UNCF, UNICEF, AIDS, healthcare, all of these things over the last several decades. So I see you, and I know you are who you say you are. So you know what? We don't normally do this, but because I can't do it through the corporation, this one gentleman pulled out his personal checkbook and wrote me a check for $15,000.
Wow.
I sat in his office and cried. Okay. So now I keep calling people. I've called people at corporations that I've spoken for their events, and, you get the same message. Then I went to SoCal Gas, and I'm sitting with them, and I make my presentation and go, well, we don't normally support first-time organizations. I said, okay, here comes the rest of the speech. I said, however, we are really impressed with you and what you are doing, and we want to be a part of it. And we want to help a young African-American woman, who's basically a small business, the foundation, and we want to support you. How much is it to be one of your title sponsors? I said $25,000, and they said, okay, we're going to give you $25,000. No, they said, let me think about it, and we'll call you back in a few days. So a few days became a week, and I got the email and said, okay, well, we're sorry we took so long to get back to you, but we want you to know that we want to be a title sponsor for the technology track of your conference, and sent me a check for $25,000. I cried.
Wow.
This was someone I had never met before that meeting. And there were people who I had met, who I had worked with, who weren't supportive at all. And this was a complete stranger that off the bat said, not only are we're not going to give you $1,000 or $2,000, we're going to give you all the money you need in order to teach the technology track to your conference students.
Wow.
$25,000. I cried. So that affirmation, that kind of support is, I know how to do a lot of things, but I don't know how to do everything. I've been on boards for foundations, but I've never run one. So I knew it was going to be a learning curve. But, Spirit spoke to me. God said, you know what, Dawnn, if you do this, I will send you the people and the support you need to get it done. And he did. So that very first year was just one opportunity after the next to say that, you're supposed to be doing this, and I will make it possible. And he continues to send me people to make it possible. And to any of you listening out there, if you've been one of our donors over the last few years, whether you send in $5 to the, foundation or $25 or whatever it is, please know that it is greatly appreciated, and it has been a huge blessing to all of our young people and communities and families that we've been able to provide programming for. And I'm also going to put something else out there. Now with this COVID quarantine and not being able to gather, a lot of our programs were things that we had to do by bringing people together, different cultural experiences or career experiences or the conference, and we can't do that now. So we're actually looking for suggestions for different programs that the foundation can do while we remain socially distant from each other. So anybody out there with some suggestions, feel free to, shoot an email to the foundation. We'd love to hear your ideas, and thank you again for your support. And if you haven't before, feel free to do it now. Thank you.
Absolutely. Go to anewdayfoundation.net. Make sure you go to DawnLewis.com. Make sure you connect with her. She's very active on her social media, Twitter and Instagram at Dawnn, DAWNN_Lewis. You know what? I feel like this. With all that's been done, not just via career, things like that or whatnot, and you kind of navigated through as far as, the challenges of COVID and how it's impacting folks. I think a lot of people out there, Dawnn, just, they know your career, they've embraced it. I've been a super fan, and I was one of the ones that got the album back in the day. And it's live radio, so we're gonna run some track later. But the music of who you are, Dawnn. Like, tell the people out there, like, I mean, not just you being a singer. I mean, you've sung on a different world, obviously, but I mean, that's still a passion you have, right?
Yeah, I still write and record for a variety of recording artists. I still write for different projects that I am in, a few of the movies that I've been in or TV series that I've been in. If you're a person that reads credits, you'll see my name on the credit for having written a song that's in the soundtrack of the project. And even now, up until the COVID quarantine, I was doing a Broadway musical, Tina, the Tina Turner story on Broadway.
I read about that.
I was playing Tina Turner's mother, Zelma Bullock, and in the show, I go from in my 20s to my late 70s in the show. Incredibly talented cast, and we're looking forward to the show reopening sometime next year when they reopen theater productions. So in the meantime, I'm still doing concerts. I haven't done a Zoom concert yet. That's just kind of not the same for me. I know a lot of my friends have been doing those live concerts from their living room thing at home. I haven't gotten to that place yet. But, yeah, when everything lifts, I do concerts and things like that, and still write and record for myself as well as for other people.
Wow. And continue to...
I was going to be a recording artist. Huh?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, you got a lot of songs on that album, Dawnn. It's just so chill. Like, it is real. It is real nostalgic. Like, I love it still to this day. I mean, I know it hasn't, it's been out for a while, but I love it though. I love it. It's great.
A couple of Christmases ago, I participated in a Christmas project called Candles in the Window with Donnie McCullough and friends. There's about 8 or 9 of us on it. So we then also released little solo excerpts of our songs on the Christmas album. So that's out there as well, Candles in the Window. Either the full compilation or my songs that are on the CD. I think it's about 4 or 5 of them. And some Christmas stories. We all told our favorite Christmas stories as well.
Okay.
So that's out there now too.
Just active, just super inspirational. Dawnn Lewis is our guest on Nexxlegacy Radio, and I know you've done Broadway. I know situation comedies. If you had to choose which one, it's just kind of like choosing a kid or a sibling or whatever. But if you had to choose which route would you go, which one would you do, sitcoms or Broadway?
I wouldn't choose. In all honesty, you wouldn't make me. You'd have to kill me. I choose death.
There you go.
It's like which is harder, being black or being a woman? It's like I can't choose between those two. That's kind of it is what it is. No, I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful the fact that I get to experience a variety, like the fullness of my personal spectrum, whether it's music, whether it's acting in front of the camera for a feature film or a TV series or a Broadway show or an animated series. I'm on like 10 different animated series right now. One of them just recently got released, a new Star Trek animated series, Star Trek Lower Decks on CBS All Access. I play the captain of the ship. We have a new episode coming tomorrow. They drop every Thursday, actually. So this will be the
Congratulations on that.
The fourth.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing.
So tomorrow I think will be the 4th episode. So we've been on for almost a month now. I do voices for different Netflix series, like you said, Doc McStuffins, but I also do the voice of the Chief on Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego on Netflix.
I saw that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I play the Chief on that show. I play the voice of Patty in Apple and Onion on the Cartoon Network, La Barbara in Futurama, lots of the World of Warcraft video games. I play who knows how many characters in those. And Trolls. There's a lot of different shows I do voices for, presently, and a couple that haven't come out yet, so I don't know whether I'm supposed to say. But, yeah, a couple of new series that have come out as well. And the blessing with that is that, we record those well in advance, but for those episodes that we had to finish out for the season, we were able to, even with the quarantine, send like mini recording studios to our home so we could record out of our house and record safely, to keep production going. And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. So, no, I would not be able to choose. Each discipline uses different muscles and different parts of my brain. I'm still writing. I'm still developing. I had created a TV series for ABC a few years ago. I'm still writing scripts and waiting for the quarantine to lift to continue the deals I'm working on for selling my next series, and everything's kind of put on pause right now until we see when we can go back to work and when it makes sense, to make those kinds of investments. But that's okay. I stay ready. So, no, don't make me choose. You can't make me choose. Just gone.
I love it. Donn's like, no, I want as many kids as I can, so you can't tell me whether I should have more or less. So there you go. There you go.
Mommy,
Dawnn Lewis is our guest.
You're all pretty.
There you go. Dawnn Lewis is our guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. Nobody has favorites. Nobody does. And before we wrap it up, because I feel like I could talk.
You know you lying. Stop. Yes, you do. I can tell by the way you comb her hair and comb my hair. My hair looks crazy. Her hair looks crazy. I know you like that. I know you do. Stop lying. Stop lying.
Oh, my God.
And Charles, I met you because of your wife. Thank you for reaching out to me.
You know what?
Awesome.
She gave my girl Bianca the biggest shout out on her birthday, July 4th. So, Dawnn, you're awesome. I mean, that's how we connected in a sense. But at the same time, I feel like we were destined not just to do this, but just to support each other's journey. So, Bianca's listening too right now. So, definitely, shouting her out. But also, you've been great. You've been great. Very accessible, and I love you dearly for that. Seriously.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
No problem. So before we wrap it up, Denai, go ahead and give your final shout outs to Miss Dawnn for sure. And I got something to say before I let her go as well.
Absolutely. I think for me this is such a beautiful piece because you were a part of things that will never be forgotten. You took your experience in school and turned it into this iconic, beautiful piece that gave Black girls a chance to dream and gave dark-skinned girls a chance to think, I can actually be on television and I can be successful and I can thrive beyond the color of my skin. For me, that's what A Different World and so many of those other amazing shows did. And with Dr. McStuffins, you are changing so many little girls' lives. You guys have no idea. I have cousins that have been watching that for years. You guys are all of those people that just absolutely love what you guys are doing. So I look forward to getting to know you more. I'm loving your music. You're just an amazing person, and we definitely will stay in contact after this.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very, very much. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And Dawnn, I'm always a fanatic of the passion that you give to others and what you've done throughout the course of your career, because it's still ongoing. The train won't stop when it comes to that, but just being able to not just have this dialogue, but just be able to just watch your career evolve over the years has been a blessing and an inspiration for sure. And, I know others that's listening, that's going to be listening live or when they download it via podcast, they're going to be able to check this because, to me, I think having situations like this throughout the course of, the United States and all over the world with people who really and truly appreciate your work, your art form, it's always great that, a blessing that comes with you being accessible and you being there for your people, and that will never ever change, and you will forever have have that support. And if there's anything that we can do on behalf of your foundation or anything, we will, as a station, will continue to do it at a high level. And Dawnn, one question I do want to ask you as far as what you want me to do. Do you want me to either go through the window or down the stairs? And you know what I mean with.
I cannot with him.
No, I do not have cramps. I do not have cramps. That's hilarious.
I had to mention. Dawnn, I had to mention a classic. I'm gonna get you sucker phrase. So I had to do that. You know this.
That was so much fun. Most of those people are still dear friends of mine from the cast. Antonio Fargas played in the film. He won the Pimp of the Year and had the goldfish in his shoes. His birthday was just a couple of days after mine, so we were talking to each other saying happy birthday. And that was, 1988? 1980. Wow. Just wow. Yes. No, that was a lot of fun. People to this day still ask me if I'm having cramps. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm really glad you but no, I'm not having cramps for 32 years. No,
I love it. But Dawnn, come.
Netflix, I was just
go ahead, dear. No, go ahead.
Fans out there, any fans of the series The Boys, their next season is about to start, and I'm guest starring in that as well. So check it out. I love that show. It's so quirky. It's dark and it's funny. I love it. I think it's hilarious.
It is. You know what? People out there definitely got to make sure. I mean, I know Major Crimes was mentioned, the CW's iZombie, The Boys. You stay busy, Dawnn. You stay busy. Real quick, before we let you go, for all the people out there that's listening, Dawnn is keeping herself busy. She's finding ways to be able to do it, not just because of her iconic status, it's because she's still hungry. So all the people out there that's listening who are either in the acting game or trying to be, get to that next level, Dawnn, tell the people what you do as far as, how hungry you need to be to survive in this world.
Wow. You've got to stay hungry. You've got to stay flexible. You've got to stay aware that for as talented as you are, there are other people equally, if not more talented than you are. And each of us is doing what we can to stay relevant, to stay visible, to stay marketable, and to stay in the game. You never really arrive, because in this game, again, there's always the next thing. There's always the next movie. There's always the next TV show, and none of it is forever. None of it. None of it. It starts and it ends. It's not real. It's work. It's your job. It's your passion. So some people, they get a job and they're in that job for 16 years collecting a pension, haven't had to write a new resume since they was a teenager. For us in the entertainment industry, your resume changes every couple of weeks, if not more, as you add the next job, the next opportunity. And all of it is to feed and grow your personal passion as an artist, as well as make a living to sustain yourself. Just a word of advice. I know that cell phones and videos and all of this stuff is very exciting, and it can make you feel important. And I have 10,000 friends. Okay, they're not your friends. They are people who are sitting wherever they are sitting, looking and watching at whatever it is they are watching. They are not sustaining your life. Release that and stop living to impress them. If this is what you want to do for a living, learn how to monetize what you do, and stop giving yourself away or cheapening yourself in order to get attention from so-called friends, okay? Seriously, because that can really, really damage your spirit when you live to impress and prove yourself to other people. If you've got a talent, if you've got a passion, then do your best to cultivate it, to make it excellent, and learn how to make a living at what you love to do, and pay your rent and pay your mortgage and, whatever it is you have to do and be responsible for, because that's real.
Right.
Putting gas in your car is real. Going to the grocery store is real. And more importantly than all of that, I won't get off the phone if I don't encourage you to vote. This November, you have to vote.
Please vote.
You have to wake up and recognize what is happening in this country. And I can't tell you who to vote for, but if you're happy with things the way they have been for the last few years, then I can imagine who you're going to vote for. But if you're not happy with the way things have been handled, with the way the government has been run, with the way our current crises have been handled, then you have to make a choice. I don't care if you don't even like the choice that's available. You know where you've been, and either you want to stay where you are or you want to move into the next thing that, as long as we stay involved, will and can be better. You've got to vote. Yes. You've got to vote. You've got to vote.
And, Dawn, you're absolutely right. We can't go forward without reassessing what's been going on the last few years, and it's not great. And I think everybody that, has a sense of moving forward for all people, not just, people of color, but just in general, we all need to move forward. The only way to move forward is to vote, is because we really have to.
Yep, I believe that. I believe that.
Dawn, give your people out there that's globally in the States, overseas, a shout out. I'll let you, take the floor before I let you go. As far as whatever you want to say right now going forward, it's you. It's the Dawnn Lewis show right now, live on the air.
Yes.
Hey everybody, this is Dawnn Lewis, and I first want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting me on my personal journey as a performer, as an artist, through every facet of my career, whether you've just heard my voice, listened to my music, watched me on some program, or been able to come to a theater to see me on stage, whether it's in a play or a musical. I am so appreciative. I am who I am because of your support and the grace of God, just continuing to open up opportunities to me. So I'm grateful for what he's done for me, but I also know that he can do it for you too. I just pray blessings over your life. I pray health for you and your family and those that you love and care about. I just hope that you find careers that cause you to thrive and to be productive and to be provided for and to live your life one day at a time, grateful for what you have, but also grateful for the opportunity of the blessing that you can be to somebody else. Because we all know sometimes you don't know what to do for yourself, but you can be a support to someone else. Community is everything. Family, whether by blood or by choice, is everything. None of us get through this thing alone. So thank you for always being there for me. I pray you'll find someone that can be there for you and you can be there for them as well. Just real quick, here's something else. What he's done for me is so amazing. The love God has for me, I cannot explain. All I know is I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. And I know, yes I know, yes I know, yes I know what he did for me. He'll do for you, he'll do for you. What he's done for me, he'll do for you. God bless you. Nexxlegacy, thank you, thank you.
Love you, Dawn. We'll be in touch, all right?
Take care.
Thank you, have a blessed day.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
That is the beautiful, iconic Dawnn Lewis on Nexxlegacy.